Hey, it's time for another 5 random black metal CDs, or I should probably more accurately call it black metal odds and ends. I can't say I'm a connoisseur of underground black metal. I mean, I'm definitely interested in it, listen to what I can, but I don't have the most underground record collection out there by any means. A lot of my favorite black metal bands are like the big ones, Emperor, Immortal, stuff like that. So I give those kind of bands their own videos. And again, this is just odds and ends. Do I think the album's good? And do I have a minute worth of content to talk about? More or less off the top of my head. So, this is Watain. This is Trident Wolf Eclipse. This is their 6 of 7 full-length albums, and it came out in 2018. Watain are a big name, but they're a Swedish black metal band formed in 1998. Influenced by Dissection, but I always think of Dissection as being somewhat of a death metal band, and Watain being purely black metal. I think of it as heavy metal played through a pure black metal filter. And this is not one of their more acclaimed albums. I feel like this one gets lost in the shuffle, but it's still really good. My favorite song is probably the last one. I think they kind of closed out with kind of a classic Metallica influence. I thought that was pretty cool. But my favorite one would be The Wild Hunt, the album that preceded this one. The lyrics are very based in Satanism, and they have a reputation for living what they talk about. Kind of a wild group. And I saw Watain live opening for Mayhem. And they probably hate that I said this, but one kind of funny moment was I was standing close to the stage, and the second guitar player for Watain, he stepped on his cord and ripped it out, and the band kept playing, but mid set he had to stick it back in, and we kind of made eye contact for a second, and just a very serious band. It was just kind of funny, but it's kind of a cool package here. Next up, Antaeus. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this. Blood Libels. This is a band that formed in 1993 in France, and this is their third of 4 albums. But this came out in 2006. They've only released 1 album since then, so they haven't been so prolific in recent years. But savage black metal, insane vocals, and like Watain, I think these guys got a reputation of being wild men in real life. This came out on Norma, Evangelium, Diaboli, and the Anja Offensive. Anja. I should find out how to pronounce that because it comes up a lot. Okay, number 3, we're going to stay in France. Bludas Nord, Mort. This came out on Candlelight in 2006. Bludas Nord, formed in 1994, started off as somewhat straightforward black metal band, but they've always had their own unique flavor, different things sprinkled in. And it was their 4th album, The Work Which Transforms God, which is the album that a lot of people still talk about as their best, which saw them expand their sound and also increase their profile. And this one was the one that followed, and to this day, this is known as a controversial album that a lot of their fans think is one of the worst ones. It's samey to some extent, but I think it's underrated. It's just, it's much darker. The songs are looser. It's a little more messy, but I think it's pretty interesting. And since this album, they've put out 9 more full lengths and a bunch of other stuff, and they just continue to increase in popularity and to further experiment and expand their sound. So this is Arcanum. Don't know how to pronounce this. It's like a dozen, the letter P, but looks kind of strange in a row. And that probably relates to the subject matter, which is based on occultism from a very serious and studied point of view. They existed from 1992 to 2018. And speaking of the lyrics and subject matter, from what I gather, the main man in this band, because it's basically a one-man band, he is writing on those subjects full-time now and isn't doing the music thing anymore. I don't know a whole lot about this band's discography, but this is their 5th full length. It came out in 2009, and from what I gather, it's one of their more popular releases. Pretty straightforward, but definitely some weird things thrown in there. And one I haven't played in a while, I should check that out. Finally, Midnight, Shocks of Violence. Are Midnight black metal? Not really, but I'll say they're a black metal meets speed metal band formed in 2003 in Cleveland. And really they just represent everything that's old school, evil, and nasty about 80s metal. And this album here is not a full-length album. It's a compilation of odds and ends throughout the years. My favorite song on here is Breakout, which I think is a cover of a punk band, which I'm not too familiar with, but that one stuck out to me. And yeah, I like all the Midnight albums. I just think like every song has got 3 absolute bangers and the rest is good. My favorite song from them though has got to be Rip This Hell Off of Satanic Royalty. That song's awesome. Reminds me of Bathory. But that's it. 5 random black metal albums. Thanks for watching.